Hey, it's me, and this is my channel, DBNaila, done by Nala. Alright, so how is everyone today?
Just hay fever.
Okay. I'm not feeling that great, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Full disclosure, I'm not really in the happiest mood, I guess, but I am excited to create some art with you guys. So usually the first thing we do for January journaling, because it's still January journaling, we talk about how we're feeling here, and we have been doing January journaling for about a whole January. Last Wednesday we created this drawing. Now I know you're probably looking at this like this is not complete. You are correct, because today we're going to be actually oil painting it. So what we're going to do is, I have some kind of new goodies. I got this thinner here. I'm not sure if I want to use this quite yet, only because I really researched this stuff up. This is really more complicated than I thought it was. And then also I have my matte Mod Podge. This is for me to spray on to my actual drawing, so when I put oil paint on it, it doesn't lift the graphite up. So I'm going to be spraying this on it. Then I have my oil paint. Now some of this is from Hobby Lobby, which is from Master's Touch. This one is a Master Touch brand. I think I have like 2 of these that are actually Master's Touch brands. And then the rest of these are from the King Art oil paint set. Now these are not the best quality. These are cheap. These are from Amazon. So I had spent a little of my time last week focused on acrylic, so now this week I'm going to be working on oil paints. I mean, it feels good to talk about how you're feeling right now, so I think if you want to take this moment to just start talking and just write some things down, you're free to do that. Then all you have to do is start off with how you're feeling today, and then go on a whole tangent and just really kind of fluff it out, honestly. I'll give you some time. Hey, can I offer y'all something real quick? Candy Graham. Y'all should purchase one. They come with portraits and candy, and a special surprise if you get the 25. That is all. Bye. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So if you're trying to figure out on exactly what to think of, or it's kind of hard to jog that creative process, please check out last week's video. I really talked about how I go about my creative process. It's pretty weird, but it helps me. I feel like maybe it could help you guys, so if you want to go check it out, just check it out. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with just spraying this. Make sure it's nice and solid for me. Okay, let's start it. You guys know you're not supposed to spray this to the inside. I told you guys last time, but I don't listen. Stinks. I'm gonna have to wait for that to dry for a little bit. So if you notice this piece right here, this is what we did. We drew it completely out, and last video was basically on how to think of painting idea, honestly. So usually what we do is for January journaling is we ask ourselves how are we feeling, and then we literally write it out or talk it out, and we just kind of dive deeper into that and figure out some key topics about that and create a piece on it. So this piece itself was about feeling useful and then worthless. So these weird little oxymorons, I guess. So I'm going to continue to work on that piece for today. So I'm going to be using oil paint, and I want to use acrylic. Oh, boo-hoo. Not gonna lie, but I sprayed this, so we're just gonna be using oil paint. So I was thinking of the idea of just using acrylic for the background, but I don't know if I want to do that. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick this palette off and get this ready for our oil paint. I forgot how satisfying this is. That was a good one. Well, that was satisfying. Alright, so I think instead of using this palette right away for oil paint, I'm going to use this clear sheet that I was going to use for my 2000s thing. So I think this time I'm going to trust my gut, and I'm going to start off like I would when I was younger and paint in one small area instead of going big and getting the broad shapes out. I feel like oil paint is very different. You can either go big with your shadows first or lighter colors first, or you can start small and just slowly build up higher. I was afraid at first because I didn't know if I could replicate each color accurately, but I have some stuff that will clean my paintbrush correctly, so I am now more comfortable to just basically go back and forth and keep making colors. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so like I just said, I'm going to start off basically starting in one little area and then working my way out. The Mod Podge spray really did work a little bit. It wasn't as sliding as much as I did, but it did still slide a lot on like my actual colors, the gray. But I'm really happy about that because it kind of dyed those colors down a lot, which I'm very, very thankful for, because you know I don't like my bright colors unless it's like red and blue. But for the most part, this is really cool and I'm really so excited about this piece.
Wow.
I am a lot more confident with those colors. At first I was kind of leaving the areas out where the white should be. I also noticed a lot of people who do oil painting have that nice wash over in the background, like that reddish kind of rusty like wash color. I didn't do that. I wasn't really comfortable with that yet, but I will try it out next oil painting I do. It helps a lot kind of like monitoring what should be super bright and what should be darker. It really helps to have that like contrasting color in the background than just white, because it kind of distracts you a little bit.
Nice.
It was really, really hard, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time I was kind of struggling on like how confidently I should go in with the oil paint, but I can tell from last time I'm going in much more deliberately than I did before with the paint. And I don't know how, but that thinner stuff really does work, because I really do mix a lot of my colors like that. So going back to old colors, it really like kind of like vibes it up a little bit. It makes it a lot more smoother that I can work with and move things around. The brush I was using, it's suggested that you use smaller brushes that have like the small square tips, because if you go for the longer ones, it's gonna like mess the bristles up. I think it's just certain ones. You can't have like certain synthetic fibers. I can't remember exactly, but I stuck to one brush the whole time basically, except for my background. So I think that's pretty cool. Like I told you guys, I want to take my time and go through every little crevice of the piece, which was very daunting for me. I really enjoyed like working with ideas of shadows in this piece. So I told you guys to make your paintings more interesting, try to do things that you haven't done before. So like these shadows, which are like solid shadows, are really, really cool to work with and have fun with. And also I'm really trying to play up this gore factor and really working with how some of this blood looks. And I learned from the past that mainly the blood that I had before was more red and vibrant, but a lot of the blood that I'm working with now is more purpley and dark and saturated, which is how it is, and like realistically, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to really, really practice on the gore factor with everything. I know you notice it's the same cut as I used for this painting, which is fine. Don't judge me. I'm just trying to practice a lot more. In a darker subject matter, when I painted these cuts and tears and scars on my face, I somehow have a connection where I can feel them a little bit. It's something about like painting that on my face is just really powerful, honestly.
Wow.
So as I kept going with these hands, I noticed like I started to rush a little bit with the hands. I started layering a lot because I started filling out like wider areas, which I needed to slow down. I needed to slow down, but of course I didn't listen, and I started with so many different other colors and phrases before. So eventually, as I kept going with the hands, I started to become a little bit more comfortable, but I was really nervous in doing the hands because they looked more like patchy than anything, and I really wanted to make sure it was smoother. So that's when I started like switching from the little stippling to like big huge swatches of paint, which wasn't the correct thing to do at first, but it's fine. I kind of sort of went back to how I was before and started using like the more solider colors and started painting like the paint by numbers. I did that when I really got more comfortable with it.
Nice.
Like I said before, the shadows were so much fun. The shadows were so fun. Just those dark saturated areas just really makes things kind of pop, honestly. And like I said before, it really does look different because the background is white, so it's hard to judge what exactly looks right, you know, at the time. But this gore, you guys, I'm so proud of this. Like, I'm really going into detail with this blood and guts and gore and stuff.
Nice.
Alright, so I'm almost done with the hands. I'm at the bottom shadow of the hand, and I'm really moving on to that kind of like the cleavage area, which, let me tell y'all something, that knife I added at the bottom piece, that makes my piece so much, like, I don't know, it just makes it more alive. And like the biggest thing about these paintings is, like, if you notice, even though this stuff was planned out in my picture, a lot of this stuff is I'm just spitballing here. Like, I'm literally freestyling and I'm adding areas in where I want to add in. I didn't have a lot of reference images, like different images. I only had that one that I made, so this was really a challenge. I was really nervous on how the actual sweater was gonna look. I didn't know if I wanted to add the sweater or keep it as it is, but as I finish up that little cleavage area, I have to move on to the most drastic parts, which is the background. So this was very chaotic, very hectic. This was an episode on its own, honestly. So what I decided to do was I started going into those like little areas where I needed the shadows and stuff for the actual sweater part, and literally, excuse me, midway through it I said nope, I don't want this. So I tried to scratch it off with my palette knife, which didn't work. So I got frustrated, started wiping it off. Yeah, I started wiping it off. Then I started putting thinner on the paper towel. I was trying, y'all. And then somehow I got it all over my hand because the thing just exploded in my hand, and I was just like, great, awesome. So now my hand is like really dry looking. You know how it looks when like you have like super concentrated like nail polish remover and it makes your hand get dry. I was so scared because it was dry, and I was like, I need to do something about this. So I started like putting more thinner on the paper towel, started wiping it, did nothing. So now I'm like, crap, I'm scared, shooketh, and I'm like, what should I do about this on my hand? I don't know if I'm supposed to have this on my hand because I heard it's toxic, but I don't know. So tell me on my dumb self, got the water bottle. Girl, I don't know what I was thinking. I have no words. Why? Drowned myself with half of the bottle of water. This is what happens when you think too fast, because I tend to think really quickly when I'm doing work and I do a lot of dumb stuff. But I cleaned it up. It was just water everywhere. I just kind of stay on the background for some time, and that went into my hair because I needed a breather. But when I got into my background, what I decided to do was I tried to practice with the palette knife, because people paint with the palette knife. Y'all, I was struggling when I first did it. Oh my gosh. But it's all about taking risk, and literally I'm over here paletting this thing on, and midway through that, what are they midway? Almost early stages, I'm so emotional and I'm so upset because I felt like I ruined the piece because this stuff was not scraping off. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going, stick to the punches. So I just kept going, you guys. Palette this thing on, slapping it down, and I'm scraping this thing on. Midway, I put some darker colors, caught myself trying to do something with it. And of course, I scraped all of it off. All of it. All of it off. And I'm like, this is kind of dope. So I'm like, look, I gotta recycle this stuff. So I take all the scrapings, I started painting it on. You know, it's just, this piece is so adaptive. Started painting it on, the background was perfect. I added some white, and I got one side of my piece done with a bunch of random colors. So I copied it to the other side, put those yellows in, just tried to imitate it, did the same thing, plastered it on, scraped almost all of it off, then painted some of it on, but kept some of it off. Let me tell y'all, it was a journey. Alright y'all, so I am back, and I think I have fully completed it. Completed it. I am so excited. Let me tell y'all, this is hands down my favorite oil painting out of the 4 I did. Ta-da! This is what we have, y'all. Look at that. God. Oh my God, y'all. It was a wild trip. This is what my palette looked like afterwards. Yeah, I destroyed like 4 brushes along the way because, you know, I didn't have the right ones, so it's okay because I'm gonna get some more brushes. I'm going to actually peel this off because I don't want any of this. I'm happy I had this plastic wrap to take it off because I'm about to literally throw this in the trash. So one time for the good time and just... Oh, this is scary. This is scary. Oh my God, imagine this thing popping off and going everywhere. Oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God.
Why are you making it complicated?
Y'all. Wow, this thing was sticking. This is done. This is trash. Still got a fresh palette. I'm gonna wipe some of this off, but honestly, as for review wise, I did use the thinner. And I actually used it a lot because I had to go back to some other areas that were already kind of dry. So I had to use some of that thinner, just a little bit, to kind of make my paint a little bit more liquidy, I guess. So it could blend in a little bit more smoothly. So it did work. I was very surprised. I did wipe that stuff off from me. I don't think you're not supposed to touch it, but I heard it's like not really good for skin. So I was freaking out. And so as you guys saw, that happened. But I'm good now, y'all. My hands are just regularly dry. Yeah, you know, I'm really proud about this painting. I'm proud about this month. And, you know, I think this has been a very long January. And I'm so proud for y'all sticking to it and, you know, kind of figuring out a little bit more about yourself. That's what this whole process is about. And you know what? I'm so proud that I came to this piece as my last piece for this month. So, next week, new month. So excited about it. Also, I have to give my husband a shout out. His birthday was yesterday. So, it was just so great. I'm much more comfortable with oil paint. I feel like I'm ready to take action on some other pieces, some bigger pieces. So if you want me to keep going and move on to some more oil pieces, please comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you guys. I love you guys. Don't forget. I'm putting it in there. I gave you a birthday shout out too.
Well, I'll do that when we get 3K. I caught you in 3K. I was 4K.
Got you right where I want you!
Like and subscribe.